What's up, y'all? It's your girl Bri Dupre coming back to you from an undisclosed location. I'm joking. I'm actually here in a small town in Indiana. The country's coming out of me, y'all. I don't know. I've always been a country accent girl at heart, but anyways, if it's extra strong in this video, I apologize. I'm in here in this small town in Indiana training, and it's bringing out the country in me. I can hear it. I can't stop it. It is what it is at this point, you know. But I want to get these 3 story times at least recorded before the year is out, which we're already halfway through December when I'm recording this, so that I can go into the new year with my heart being free and not being weighed down by me being stuck in the past, not telling my story, not getting the closure that I think I deserve, being stuck and being misunderstood. I mean, I'm in the shower thinking about how many times and how many different people have screwed me over. And I want in 2024 as my main focus to stop carrying the weight and the burden of my past with me. Stop living in the past. I can't tell you how many times people have told me, you need to let it go. Or why are you still talking about this? And a lot of times it's because I was never given an opportunity to resolve. I was never given an opportunity to, and a lot of times, tell my side of the story, hear the other person's side of the story, come to some type of mutual understanding. And that's what's unfortunate when it comes to relationships with people that view you as, you know, tangible or whatever the case may be. So this story is long overdue, y'all. And I'm coming to this story with a different point of view. A lot of times you guys hear my story times, and a lot of times I might have said I played a small role or I was at fault to a certain extent. And at the end of the day, the choices I have made in my life have led me to where I am now. And honestly, where I am now currently today as I'm talking to you guys, is my health the best? No, and I'm not making great eating choices, and that can be neither here nor there when it comes to this topic. But I'm in a better place in my life. I don't have everything that I had before when I was posting regularly, and that's been the main reason why I have not posted regularly on this channel, consistency on this channel, because I don't have what I did. But I'm finally starting to, you know, I'm almost 30. I'm finally starting to recognize my patterns, change behaviors, be more observant in other people, to understand that every person around you is not a good person. Every person does not deserve all of my kindness. I mean, you could be kind to a certain extent, but everybody doesn't deserve a genuine friendship from me. And that I can't just be so trusting with everyone all the time, because look at where it has led me. So last time we saw each other, I told you guys about a man, well, a parasite that lived in my house and just sucked all the life out of me. And we were working at the same place together. It was a popular burger chain restaurant. And obviously I no longer work there. And it wasn't because of him. It was not because of him. It was because of me. But the choices that I made, I just want to make sure I'm in focus. And I'm not now, I apologize. If I wasn't then and I'm not now, I still apologize. But anyways, I lost the job because of choices I made, but just because of choices I made, I put my future in somebody else's hands. And because that person did not take that responsibility, with a heavy heart, with an open mind, with thinking that there's consequences to her actions, I no longer have that job. So let's just start from the top. I started working at this restaurant and I thought everything was fine. Everybody was nice. Everybody was friendly. I started making deeper, genuine connections with a bartender there who I never thought I'd be friends with. She was complete polar opposite of me. You know, beautiful. I mean, I'm beautiful too, but beautiful in a different way. You know, in a stereotypical way, skinny, blonde, white, things that I really had never been deep friends with in a person. And I know that those things don't make a person, or you can't rely on that for a connection. But it was just shocking to me how much we had in common and how much we clicked and how close I felt to this person in such a small amount of time. Now, if you guys have watched my other video about me talking about when I worked at a wing place, you guys understand, or if you work in anything, you understand that there are rules and a code of ethics when you work in management in any sort of establishment, I'm assuming. And in the restaurants, it's the same. When you're a manager, you cannot fraternize, be friends with, be romantic with anybody basically below you, entry level employees, etc. So certain places are more lax on the rules, which we will get into at a later story time, because I said there's 3 story times I need to get out, or at least record before the year is over. But I felt like that the place I was working at was an exception, because I had another manager who was friends with people who were not managers. There was a manager there that was cousins with someone who was not a manager. So while we're not advertising these things verbatim, it's known, and it's a little like a hush-hush situation. So I became friends with this woman, this lady, this girl, and her name was Brittany. And she was such a fun person. Every time I saw her, she was at work, she was uppity, makeup on point, beautiful girl, energetic. Everybody has their flaws. No one's perfect. We clicked, like, she understood. We had a lot of things in common. And eventually it led to something happened over a course of conversation. We end up getting each other's number, obviously for work, like, why are you here late, whatever, or can you cover whatever. So I had her number for that. But then it became us talking about regular stuff. And then it ended up being where she started coming over to my house and we started hanging out. We would drink, we would eat, we would do other things. I would help her with her homework, or she would try to do her homework. We would watch music videos together. We both loved MGK. So we would watch MGK videos. I mean, there were times where she sat in my bed and would trauma dump on me so hard. And she has told me things that even if I don't like her to this day, and I don't agree with a lot of choices that she's made in her life and is still making in her life, I'll never share any of the things that she shared with me to anyone to this day. And even at the last job I was with, I ended up working with her brother there. And even I still didn't share the things that she shared with me when we were just us. I had that guy living with me, and I told him, hey, I'm friends with Brittany. Like, I know it's against the rules. You can't tell anybody at work that she comes here, that we hang out, but we do. And, and so there's been times where he was there sleeping on my couch or hanging out on the couch, and we would be in my room. One time we got so drunk, she even tried to hit on me, and that's where I drew the line. She probably was just, I don't want to call it stereotypical drunk white girl, but in my brain, when stereotypical white girls get drunk, they always make out with their friends. It's just what they do. And that's just not what I do, So over the course of a couple months, I'll say, we became friends. It came to a point where maybe 2-3 times a month we were hanging out, maybe 2 times a month, whatever it was. It was, she ended up being my bitch. That was my homie. That was my homie, we had makeup in common. We had a lot of things in common. I thought we were going to be friends for a minute, and, she had a friend who was way, way, way younger than her. Okay. We were the same age, right? We were around the same. Maybe she was a year younger than me. Maybe around the same. I can't remember. But we were the same age, right? I can't fathom being 29 years old and being friends with someone who's not even old enough to drink. That's just me and where my mind frame is, and where I want the mind frame of other people who I hang out with to be. Obviously, preach your own. There are people who are 20 years apart and are dating and are in relationships. So, maturity levels can be different at different ages. But in my opinion, this person was not mature. The person made very immature decisions. She got a dog off the whim, didn't even take care of it right. And I didn't feel like it says something about a person's, I want to call it social intelligence, but I could just be making this up. Maybe we'll just call it maturity. Like, when you're at this age and everybody else at this age is here, and so you can connect and be friends because you guys are here. But really, just because you're physically this age, your brain and your thought process, because of trauma, she trauma dumped a lot because of a lot of things. When people go to prison, they say time freezes. When parents die, like, it's a lot of things that will freeze time. And your friend's maturity level is down here. So I only hung out with her friend like one time, and once I found out what her age was, like, we don't hang out with her, okay? But I loved her to death, but her strong point was not being reliable at work. She would call off all the time. She would come in late all the time. Like, she would want to leave early and be first cut all the time. So, I never had been one to talk shit about her blatantly. But like, if I told her, like, bro, you've been dropping the ball, and I talked to like my manager at work and we're talking, I'm like, yeah, she's been dropping the ball lately. Like, I already said this to your face. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it like to shit talk, but I do talk, right? So something had happened. A snowstorm happened. I don't know if I ever told you guys in a video or whatever, but around this time last year, actually on December 23rd of last year, I crashed my car into a pole and totaled my car. It was drivable, but the airbag deployed. My car was like, the front was like dragging. It was a lot. My alignment was off. It was not only was it traumatizing because I had never been in an actual accident where like an airbag deployed, where I was literally scared because I couldn't turn, I couldn't brake, I couldn't do anything but slide down this hill in the snow and ram into a pole. And it was stressful for me. We had a lot of snow last winter in the Midwest, and it was snowy season. I believe it was like in January or in February. I want to say it was in February, probably. Because Valentine's Day, I was still employed. So I want to say it was around February. So we had all of this snow, and I had to go to work. A lot of places were closed, but my place wasn't, and I had to go to work, and I made it to work, and I drove slow, and I drove safely, and I drove how I drove. A lot of people were calling off, and at that point, my boss had put her foot down and was like, if people keep like basically saying people are going to get fired if they call off. So Brittany was scheduled to work along with a group of other girls that she's friends with, that she lives with, or whatever cahoot she was in with them, and they all came together. And from my understanding, from the conversation I had with Brittany, because I have Snapchat friends with her little friend, two other servers that worked at the restaurant, and all of this. So they're all like Snapchatting me that they coming to work. They don't want to come to work. I get it, but you don't understand. Like, I still had to drive because I was paying a car note on my car. I couldn't afford to fix it. I still had to drive a totaled car that only had 2 lights working, that I had to get pulled over for all the time, that we already know was trash in the snow because I crashed it a month prior at this point. And like, I came to work, you know what I mean? And by the time you would go to leave work, like, the people were coming out, they were clearing the roads. So by the time I left work, I said, okay, it'll be clearer because A, the snow is supposed to stop, and B, people are out paving the road. So yeah, when you leave work, it won't be snowing so you can see, and the roads will be clear so you can drive. But it'd be the struggle just coming to work. So all these girls are talking all this shit, how it's so much trouble and it's so hard for them to come to work. And eventually they made it to work. Everybody's here at work. Now, I get that it was dead. The electricity flickered on and off, and there were things that were happening. They made it to work. I don't even think they clocked in. All 4 of them or 3 of them end up ganging on my GM, talking whatever they were talking about the snow, to the point where she told them like they could go home. Like, they were begging to go home. They could go home. And so they turned back around and drove, Brittany included, and drove back in the same snowstorm they were just complaining about driving in. Sometimes it's just like, some people will do so much work to not physically work. It's like, almost commendable. You drove in unsafe, hazardous conditions to get here. By the time you were to leave in 5-6 hours, those conditions will no longer be available. They'll be gone. And you're going to drive in those same conditions just so you can sit at home? Servers don't get paid by the hour. You know what I mean? I get it because they don't get paid by the hour, but we did have like people coming in. It wasn't like dead. Like we had customers, so on their way home, now mind you, Brittany isn't driving because from my point of view and from my understanding, she's in the back seat. On the way home, the driver is sending me Snapchats of it was two different drivers. It was two different people coming. Like, it was like one girl came by herself and she had 2 kids and she's talking all this smack about her mama and her kids and whatever. So she's Snapchatting me like, look, there's cars on the side of the road. Look, and the other driver in the other car is Snapchatting me like, look at how dangerous this is. Okay, here's my argument. You came to work. You got here. You begged to leave. You left in the same conditions that were here when you got here, and now you're driving and you're on the phone on Snapchat to send me videos so that you can try to justify the laziness, the no willing to workness, and to go back home in the snowstorm. To me, it just is a little bit like, where's the thought process? And I went to telling another manager or something, and I'm sure like other people overheard about how, to me, it doesn't seem like a smart decision to come to work in hazardous conditions, to just beg to leave out in the same hazardous conditions, if when you had came to work and worked your shift, those hazardous conditions would no longer exist. Like me personally, I wouldn't have driven to work in my car in the condition I was driving in, just to ask my boss, can I not be at work? Because I'm going to have to drive back in the same unsafe scenario. Not only are you driving in an unsafe scenario, you're passing images to remind you of how unsafe the scenario is. And instead of you putting both hands on the wheel and paying attention to the fact that you can barely see, that you're sliding all over the place, that you need to make it home, your first thought was, let me take out a phone and send a Snapchat to my boss to justify me feeling and saying what I did. So yeah, I called it stupid. I called it dumb. I called it not smart. For the person that's driving, all right, for the person that's driving to Snapchat me while they're driving in a snowstorm. Am I wrong? Is that a wrong observation? Now, where I went wrong was choosing to be friends with somebody who was against the rules. That was first off, right? We already covered that. But yes, I maybe shouldn't have said it so loud or whatever the case is. My argument was my only friend was Brittany, and I'm not talking about her. If she chooses to surround herself with dumbasses, like, that's her choice. But I'm not talking about her because she's in the back seat in the Snapchats and she's not driving the car. I get like a message a couple of days later, or maybe even the next day. I don't know. Mind you, I barely saw Brittany in passings. Like, our schedules like barely like coincided. It was like maybe once or twice a week that we would actually work together. And it wouldn't even be like, it would barely be the only shift. I think on Sundays were the only times that we actually like worked together whole shift, because I think she closed on Sundays and I usually close on Sundays. So I think that's like why. And I had to like count the liquor and weigh the kegs on Sundays, and she was a bartender. But like, aside from that, we like barely ever like really worked together, honestly. Like, it'd be a couple times like that, and those times we connected, so therefore we furthered, but you know what I mean. So a couple of days later, I get a message. I couldn't find the initial message, but I have messages that was going back and forth. So she messaged me on Facebook originally and was saying like, hey, are you going to be at work today or something? And I was saying no. And she was saying something about she wanted to talk. And I was like, okay, about what? And she ended up saying something like, I don't like what's being said. And I just think that we shouldn't be friends, or whatever she said, but keep it professional. So I started like writing messages to her on Facebook Messenger, but you know how like you unsend stuff? I started unsending it because at a point, here's the thing. The older I'm getting in my life, and this is an observation, it's not something that I've been doing on purpose. It's not something that I thought of. And by the way, I'm sorry if I'm crooked. It's just, you're laying on my bed. It is what it is. I decided I don't need to defend my character. I spent my entire middle school trying to not be a lesbian and defend the fact that I wasn't a lesbian because that was the rumor in school and I got bullied for that all the time, to the point where I made myself lose my virginity to a boy I didn't even like, just so rumors can go around and say that I wasn't a lesbian. And then all they ever did was say I was bisexual and still tease me. I spent all of high school trying to defend the fact that I was black, since I moved to inner city Chicago and went to school with a 98% black populated class, who always told me I wasn't black, who always told me I couldn't say this and I couldn't say that because I wasn't black. Why am I so light if I was black? I spent so much time defending who I was in relationships with manipulators, which could be a topic for another story time. I spent so much time in my life trying to show others who I was, who I wanted to be, or that I wasn't who they thought I was, that I no longer feel the need. If you're my friend and you're a genuine friend to the point where you feel comfortable enough being in my bed, I let this girl sleep on my couch once because she drank too much at my house. That's before the parasite started living with me. I let her sleep there because she was trying to leave, and I told her no, sleep in my house. I wouldn't do that to people who I wasn't a good friend with. So I just feel like if you trust my character enough to share your entire depressing, sad, traumatizing life story with me, or childhood story with me, or whatever, or problems, or even when it comes to addiction or whatever the case is, if you trust me enough to tell me those kinds of things, I feel like you should trust me enough to know I won't talk bad about you to others who aren't your friends. Like, yeah, two friends can get together and be like, girl, shorty been drinking a lot lately. Maybe we need to keep an eye on it. So not a gossip, talking like a care. So I started sending all these messages and unsending them because I just felt like I don't need to defend myself to her, and I want to talk face to face. I'm a big promoter on talking face to face. So this is what happened. This is us texting now. So it's no message that she started. The last time we actually said, because the last time we actually texted was her saying she was on her way. I asked her to come into work early or come back to work. And then she Facebook messages me, and these are my responses to Facebook message. So, hey, it's Bri. I tried messaging you, then I thought a face-to-face conversation is more suitable for me. If you agree, I will be here until 4:30ish. If you want to come in a little early so we can talk or something, that's fine. If not, that's fine too. Just let me know. Thanks. So I feel like we can have a face-to-face conversation, and I'll just tell her basically it was a misunderstanding in communication between whoever told her whatever and what I actually said. And then squashes will be squashed. You know what I mean? She never showed up. So I said, okay. And she never responded. I said, okay, well, I'm leaving. And since you never read any of my messages or responded to this one, I'll just assume you don't care, which is fine. All I'm going to say is your name never came out of my mouth. I was talking about your friends sending me snaps while driving. And yes, Brittany, it is not a smart idea to drive in a snowstorm just to turn around, which I also said to you, to your face. I didn't know at the time that my GM told you guys to leave. But if you feel like those comments weren't you ignoring my feelings or judging my character, then I don't feel like we were ever friends. Which is fine. I can be a professional around you, and then that's not an issue. Have a great night. That's basically where I'm at with it, with people. Now, if you feel like I'm this person, it is not my job to prove you wrong. You can choose to stay in my life. You can choose to talk to me, or you can choose to do other things. If I'm hanging out with someone and I feel like they're a thief, until I'm in there with my stuff and they don't steal anything, maybe I won't think that they're a thief anymore. I'm not, but so it kind of goes hand in hand. If I hear something about my friend being a thief, but they've been in my house alone or house sat for me, and I had $1,000 out or something, and I came home and it was still out and nothing was gone, then like obviously those people are just talking. If those people aren't my friends and they don't know me well, and they don't even know you well enough because all of your friends that I was talking about being stupid were in the car with you, so I wasn't talking to them, then it's kind of like you're talking to somebody who doesn't care about the consequences of what they say to either party because they're not genuinely connected to either one. So yeah, I'm going to sit here and exaggerate and lie and talk shit. And it's up to the person on the other end to know if whether or not they're going to hang on every thread and believe everything or not. And in my life, and all the rumors that have been spread about me, the one thing I can say is the people that choose to be my friends are few and far between. And those are real, genuine people who contact me, who check up on me, who know who I am. And if anybody came up to them and said I was saying this, that, and the third, the first thing they would be doing from that conversation is giving me a call and letting me sit down and talk to them face to face so we can actually discuss what really happened. So this is her response. I haven't responded because I wasn't ready yet. It's really hard having this drama at work. Oh, this was in March. Okay. You keep pushing and pushing me. Not sure how I was pushing and pushing her when she's the one who first initiated conversation, said she didn't want to be cool, didn't tell me why, and then but first started with, can we talk? I just want to have peace in the workplace where I have to make a living. And when I'm thrown off like this, it's really difficult to come back from that. The whole store is talking about this drama between us at this point, and it's stressing me out. I would have wanted to work this out between us, but now everyone else is sticking their heads in. With it blowing up like this, management is going to know, and I don't want to lose my job over this. I was your friend, but at this point, our friendship is hurting me. It's doing more harm than good. I enjoy my friends, but if a certain friendship is jeopardizing my work environment, then I have to draw boundary lines. I care about you, lies, and hope the best for you. Hope we can remain professional. I don't want to lose. So I responded. But let's just go to the counterpoints because, well, maybe I'll talk about it. Here we go. I'll just say what I responded. I'm skipping some stuff just because people's names are involved. I don't want to lose my job either, but you can't expect me to hear you out when you can't do the same. I'm fine with keeping it strictly professional, especially now that I see how you handle conflict. So we can move on. That's fine. I never told anyone we were friends. I told somebody about unadding me on, some like two of them unfollowed me on Snapchat or something. But I definitely don't need someone as dismissive towards my feelings as you are when it comes to what I look for in a friend. Just next time, maybe don't get so close to someone for no reason and waste their time. I thought you were a genuine person. Sorry your anxiety is acting up over this. I know you're struggling with it. I won't bring it up to anyone or even you again. You have my word on that. Here's the thing. I am the first person to support someone with mental health issues. I have my own. But it was hardly ever a day at work that I was there, that I heard other people working, that Brittany showed up on time, didn't want to leave early, didn't call off, didn't make 20 mistakes. So girl, stop it. You're a bartender part-time, trying to go to school and wanting your man to pay for everything. Let's just call it what it is. Okay? Blah, 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 blah. And this is what kills me, y'all. This is what kills me. This whole thing happened in March of this year. Okay. I started a different job at the place where her brother works. We'll just say I started there in July because I had like a month of training. I didn't even know he worked there for that month. We'll just say in July. So we got March, April, May, and June. We have 4 months. Really, let's say 3.5 because it's happened in the middle of March now that I'm reading our time-stamped conversations. By the time I got to her brother and we started talking, he told me she doesn't even work there anymore and she isn't even friends with these people she was friends with. So you cared about your job and your peace at work so much. Let me tell y'all what she did. She screenshotted our conversation, the one conversation that she had of me admitting that we were friends, and she sent it to the regional manager. Didn't even go to the general manager. Sent it to the regional manager who suspended me pending an investigation where I got fired. And we'll go into more detail about that later. But you cared about your peace and your peace at work so much that 3 months later, you're not even working there anymore. I wanted to be working there, period. Like, I wanted to move up in the company. I wanted to be there to be my best. I was getting paid nicely for the time I was putting in. It was a nice ordeal for me. It was close to home. I was able to keep up the lifestyle that I had, the lifestyle that you guys saw me live. She came to my house. She came to my house and said to me several different times, I can't believe you're doing all of this by yourself. I'm so proud. I look up to you, because she was staying in a house with like all of these gremlins. It looks so peaceful. You guys saw my house, 2-bedroom apartment, walk-in closet, balcony, was able to have my dogs, my cats, my rabbits. I mean, was it a mansion? No. But I loved what I had. I was proud of what I had. When I cleaned and people came over, I saw the look in their face like, wow, this person like really has their life together. And she was one of those people. You came in my house, you saw how I lived. I told you it was stressful. I told you it was hard. I told you how my finances were fucked, and I was getting, because of the car accident and all these other things. And the first thing you do when you have an inkling that somebody has talked negatively about you is screenshot something and literally get their job terminated. I lived by myself. I paid for everything by myself. And she came in my house and trauma dumped her whole life story and slept on my bed. Slept on my couch, did her homework in my bed, and ate my food. Played in my makeup. I gave her makeup. One chance she got. This is the span of like 2 days. Shorty had 2 days of contemplating before she decided to literally ruin my entire year. I'm not going to say life, because my life isn't over yet. But it has been a rough year for me. It has probably been the roughest adult year I have ever had. It has probably been the most testing time in my life. To the point where I wasn't even trying to get emotional. I was contemplating staying here on earth. That's how hard my year has been. When you're a single woman, at least I can speak for myself, being a single woman with no kids, trying to break a cycle of being a young mom and uneducated, you're supposed to have it together. It's the reason why I made the choices I made. I made active choices in my life to not have kids. And I didn't want to struggle. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to have kids at a young age. I wanted to be financially stable. You guys know I went and got a foster parenting license. And the plan was for me to move into a bigger place, get bunk beds, and start fostering next year. That was my plan. And you took one text message, one opportunity, one statement that was contorted into talking bad about you, and you ruined my future. Ruined my future. I let that guy that was on the couch in that last video stay with me longer than we had discussed, because at a point in that time in my life where I was suspended, not sure what my future was, where I had gotten fired and it was so hard for me to find another job, at that point in my life, I needed someone to be on suicide watch for me, because I didn't discuss this, and we can discuss this in greater detail in a different video if you guys are interested. One of the reasons why I have animals is to have a reason to be up, to have a reason to be alive. Something relies on me every single day. And if I'm not here, I'm either putting that burden on someone else, or I'm traumatizing my animals. I made an active choice to take care of them. And if I'm not taking care of them and I make a choice on purpose to leave this earth, that's not fair to them. And that's why I get more animals, because they're motivations to keep going. And if that's how I help myself, if that's my Zoloft, then let it be. But you came in my house, complimented the years of hard work. I mean, all the things that have happened to me in that apartment. The one thing I could say when I came home was, I built this. I did this. Yeah, I had help, I had supporters, but nothing would have been possible if it wasn't for my hard work and me trying to accomplish goals. And you took it away from me. Took it away. I lost my car. I couldn't renew my lease because I had owed back rent because I didn't have a job to pay it. So I lost my apartment. I had to move in with my parents at 29 years old, who told me I could only bring my dog with. So I had to temporarily rehome my rabbit, my cats, and that's where I am to this day. Building up slowly. Got a new car, working on a place, still owe over $3,000 to my apartment, because I had to get a new car in order to get a new place. Currently, I'm in a hotel because I'm training for a different job. I'll be making the most amount of money I've ever made in my entire life. And so I'm not saying that everything turned out bad, but look at where we are. That happened in March. In March. It's been almost 7 months later. I'm still dealing with the consequences of someone who screenshotted a message to my boss and exploited the fact that I made a bad decision. Did I ever treat her unfairly because she was my friend? No. Like I said, we were barely on shifts together, full shifts. Like barely on a shift that I ran. So I'm at this point in my life where I am no longer being the bigger person. You guys saw in the last video, I called the storage unit on the guy so he can no longer sleep there. I'm tired of me allowing people to walk all over me, say whatever they want to say to me, treat me however they want to treat me, and me either still being there, like in relationships, or not saying anything, blocking them, being the bigger person. No. Because you know what that's done to me all these years? It's done nothing but carry that same stress and relive those same moments, and it snowballs. And it snowballs. And until one day I'm in the shower, I'm in the car, I'm listening to music, I'm washing my body, and I start thinking about the last person that screwed me over, and the person before that. And eventually I get to me being 12 years old in my head. Of all the times I should have stuck up for myself, or stuck up for my family, or stuck up for anything, and never did. Because I wanted to be the bigger person. When is my good karma going to cash in? I've let 2 people live with me who have shown me nothing but unappreciation and screwed me over as well. I do so much good, and I try to put so much good into the world. My mother always told me, always leave a place better than the way you came. Always leave a place better than the way you came. And that's what I'm trying to do in the world. I'm trying to leave the world better. I'm trying to make my little small world and the people who are in my world. I'm trying to make it better for them before I leave. And I'm tired. I'm so tired. I'm tired of taking the L's, the L's, the L's, the L's, the L's. When millionaires are assholes. When our presidents are dumbasses. When every person who's on top is not a good person. When is being good, when is being nice, when is being genuine going to pay off? When is the nice guy going to win? They won't. They don't. And I'm done. And I'm done being the good guy to people who I know don't deserve it. So I texted her back. After I got sat down and got told I was getting suspended, waited. So the 9th was the last time I texted her. This is 16th. This is when my suspension was over. They tried to have me sign something. That's another thing. I should have never signed it, because in there, I asked my boss permission to let that guy stay on my couch because he was only a shift lead and not an assistant manager like myself. And she told me it was not against the rules. And then when I got suspended, they want to write in the paperwork, and you had somebody living with you and it was against the rules, also you got permission. What does that even mean? If it wasn't against the rules, I got permission then. Because that's literally what giving permission does. It gives you permission. Anyway, so I texted her and I said, I just want to tell you that you're a shitty person and an even shittier employee. The fact that you came over to my house multiple times and compliment and want the kind of peace and being in my own, and then you take away the one thing that allows me that, you're nothing but an addict dumb bitch who's fake as fuck and not an empath. She used to tell me all the time she was an empath. If you believe in karma, you will get yours. I literally said nothing about you and only said something about your two friends. But you're so stupid and easily manipulated by everyone around you, you have no thoughts of your own. Have fun being in a cramped house like the Brady Bunch where everyone isn't responsible, including you. I wish nothing but... I meant to say hard things in your life, and I hope it happens. I meant to say bad things. You dumb, blonde, fake-ass bitch. I wish I never met you. I wish you never came here, because she's from some country. Tennessee, South Carolina, something country. I wish you never came here. I wish you would have stayed in your country. I called her a stupid bitch. I told her I hated her, and I told her it made sense. Her Snapchat... Well, not her. There's somebody named Brittany Dawn. I'm sure you guys are aware. She screws people over. And I basically said that she was just as trash as her, which I still stand by. And then we're not even done, y'all. We're not even done. So I'm doing interviews, right? For places, for jobs, because just got fired from her. I go there. There's a server that worked at the restaurant I worked at, that on the summers worked at different, like had two jobs and worked this other restaurant that was only open on summers. And I was interviewing to be a manager at that restaurant that was only open like during summers. And I ran into that server and we got to talking, chopping it up. She told me that this bitch had the audacity to go and tell the general manager that she was scared of me and what I might do. And the general manager told her, if you're so scared, park your car in the front. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I had fantasies of slashing tires, taking license plates. I'm just not that crazy. Even though I'm a Gemini, I'm just not that crazy of a bitch. I just don't go doing stuff like that. I don't go doing stupid things and then later on get caught in legalities because of it. She already had took my income, my source of income, and made my whole year stressful. I wasn't then going to allow her to influence actions on me that are out of my character, that put me in a different predicament that's worse off than where I was already at. So yeah, I have fantasies. You're afraid of me? Look at me. Look at me. She's afraid of me? I catch butterflies and spiders and ladybugs that were in my home and literally walk down the block to release them. I pick up worms from the sidewalk after it's rained a lot and has flooded them out of the dirt, and the sun has come up and they're dry trying to make it to the sun. I pick up worms and put them in the dirt, put them back in the dirt. You're afraid of me? You took my job. You took my income. You took any source of any positive thing happening to me for the rest of the year. All that was put on me and dumped on me was piles and piles and piles of shit and stress and bills. And you're afraid of me? You took my home. The actions you did that I put myself in allowed you the power to take my home. You're afraid of me? I got in one physical fight when I was in 2nd grade with a boy. I've never been one to believe in physical violence. I don't think that it solves anything. I think that if anything, it creates more problems. I don't think that anybody wins when it comes to that. And I told her that several times. I'm somebody who's, even to this day right now, if she were to text me and say she wanted to have a conversation, I would at least allow her the opportunity to apologize when she spoke. That's who I am. You're afraid of me. The girl who says she goes out and has been in all these fights, multiple fights. You're afraid of me. The girl who's taller than me. You're afraid of me because of what? Because I'm bigger than you? Because I'm fatter than you? She's this small. You're afraid of me because of that? You took my checks, girl. You took, for a brief moment, I allowed someone to take my happiness, to take my future, take all my plans that I made and erase them. And guess what? I'm still here. I'm still rebuilding. And I'm still in a better place than her. Up here, in here, right here. 3 months. You got 3 months of peace at your job. Probably not even 3 months, because who even knows when you really quit? It just came up in conversation casually. And I had to get over that. I had to get over working with someone who was related to someone who I hated. I hated her. I don't think I ever hated anyone in my entire life. I think she's the first, and I hope she's the last. And I realized that hate only gives the other person control. Because I promise you, she's not sitting down right now thinking about me. I promise you, I never cross her mind. At least once a week I'm in here. And I need to learn to release it, to let it go, to not be stuck in the past. It's hard. It's a hard thing to do, and I don't know how to do it. And I'm trying. And hopefully one day I won't look back and think about Brittany, the girl who got me fired from a really good job. Hopefully I'll look back and the only Brittany I think about is the Brittany in this book. So yeah, I became friends, and it was against the rules, with a bartender when I was a manager. And you know what she did? She took the last 7 months of my life. And it'll probably be at least 2 more before I'm on my own again. But when I am on my own, I will share it with you guys, and you will see. This is the 3rd time I've had to come build from the bottom. I'm just tired of starting from the bottom. It's supposed to be starting from the bottom, now you're here. It's not supposed to be starting from the bottom and now starting from the bottom again. That's all I've been doing. So I've been working on my financial habits. I am creating a savings account, which is something I have never done in my life. They want to teach you geometry in school. They don't want to teach you life finances and balancing a checking account. And I'm learning, and I'm getting better. and I'm making smarter choices. And I don't know where she is, but from what I heard, from the snippets I've heard, my good karma is working for me. So I hope you guys like this video. Sorry I got a little emotional. A lot has happened, you guys. Yeah, I'm thinking this is because it's like kind of like a podcasty style, right? I can't really I don't know about putting audios and stuff, but I'm thinking about longer form talking content. I'm thinking about changing a lot of things on this channel, at least for the time being, so I can still make content. I can't record makeup videos like I used to. I probably can do hair videos. I just haven't. This hair is really cute that I like. But yeah, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for sticking by me. Follow me on TikTok, y'all. I'm Bri Dupre on TikTok. I post there way more often and way more consistency than I post here. It's so much easier for me to edit a 3-minute video on my phone than edit an hour-and-a-half video on my laptop. Okay, I post cooking recipes, pet vlogs, shopping trips. I post it all on there. Follow me on TikTok if you just want to be, around all of this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.